What's good, beautiful people? In this video, me and my wife are going to be sharing everything about entrepreneurship. We're going to pulling back the curtains, really just talking about the journey, sharing the ups, the downs. If you are a aspiring entrepreneur, maybe you're a new entrepreneur just trying to navigate through this entrepreneurial, I can't even say that right, world, we got you because we have a lot of experience, and we're going to be sharing some valuable gems and nuggets, I feel like. So, what's up, Camille?
What's up, guys?
Yeah,
I'm excited
so
to be here.
yeah, I got my wife. I dragged on here. It's gonna be laid back, kind of podcast style video. We're just experimenting. But the first thing we're going to get into, because I know some of you may be new here. So we're gonna share a little bit about ourselves and our journey. So I'll let my wife kick it off first.
Oh,
Share a
wow.
little bit about your journey to entrepreneurship.
Okay, so I am a hairstylist and I have been cutting hair almost 14 years. Cannot believe that. Like, that is just mind blowing to me. But 14 years I have been into this industry, and for 12 and a half, I would say almost 12, sorry, almost 12 years, I was working for someone. So I worked for someone in a small company here in town, where we live, smaller town. And I loved it. And I thought, oh my gosh, I can totally see myself doing this, hopefully one day alone. At first, I thought it was so far fetched that there's no way I could do that. But then years, getting your clientele and you're seeing, okay, this is not working. I'm actually good at this thing. I love people. I'll always work with people. No matter what I do, I swear by that. But anyway, so 2.5 years ago, we shut down. And I told Adrian, oh my God, what am I going to do? Like, I don't know if I can keep doing this. I don't know. Are people going to follow me? What are my prices going to be? Can I afford everything? We have our own lives. We have our house and, our pets and our son. Like, what am I going to do? I was
A lot
forced
of pets,
out
y'all. A lot.
of eight,
How
eight,
many? Yeah,
eight.
I've lost count. So
Yeah, eight. And things are obviously, things get more expensive. You want more in life. Wow, like how? Like I don't even know how to explain it. I had no idea, but I trusted my faith that I knew that something is going to align for me. And sure enough, one of my clients reached out to someone that he knew and said that they had some space for me to rent. So the way my job works is I'm like self-contracting out. So I pay someone to work in their field, spot, room, whatever you want to call it. And I make my own pricing and everything falls on me. So at first I was a nervous wreck, like insane. And then here we are, right at 2 years this July, and everything is going so smoothly. And I'm like, how? I owe it to myself, but I also, obviously my clients just mean everything to me. But anyway, so about a month ago, actually, I went even further and I got in a crazy great position. I kind of got thrown into it where I was kind of the same thing happened. They were going to lease out where I was, and I was like, oh my God, here we go again, round two. What am I going to do? At this point, though, I knew I could do this. So I pushed myself further. I got a better position, a better place. I bought everything on my own. And I can't tell y'all how awesome it's been. Like, freaking amazing. So now I'm in a bigger room. I'm in a room. Before I was in like an open space type scenery. Now I'm in my own room. So I can shut the door. It's very private for me and my clients. And I had to buy everything in that room. It was an empty canvas I made it everything my own. Painted it, all the furniture, everything that went into it. I had to buy everything. So besides like my tools, my chair, and my mat, I had nothing. Like all your furniture, anything you needed, so money, money, money. But again, this is why we're going to get into, all the cool steps that goes into it. But I can't be more pleased. I'm so happy. I'm so thankful. I'm blessed, and still in this. And so here we are, 2 years and some months that I've been doing this alone, and I'm my own boss. I never would have imagined that. So pat on
10
my
plus
back.
years.
Pat on my
10
back
plus
for
years.
that. Yeah.
That's an amazing achievement. I always tell her, man, you can't overlook these small wins, especially as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You really have to, like my wife said, pat yourself on the back and be proud of how far you've come. I think some people are too hard on themselves.
Yes.
And I think you can get in this toxic cycle of trying to progress so much and focus so much on growth
Hmm.
that you miss all the small wins, which
For sure.
like really help you appreciate the journey and
Hmm.
what you're doing, and just to even be in that position, right? Just appreciating it.
For sure.
So thanks for sharing your journey. As I always say, I'm very happy for you and what you're doing, and proud of you, because it's not easy. Just seeing her wake up every day and truly grind.
Yeah.
I get to see it, you know,
Cry. Yes.
because she does everything herself, and something we're going to talk about later. She does everything, excuse me, manually. So old school,
Yes.
old school entrepreneur, writing everything down, but different systems and different things work for different people, and
Oh, you made
works
me
for
cry.
her business.
Yeah.
Everyone's business is different, right? And that's even why I wanted to bring my wife on here, because she has a lot to offer. Um,
Yay.
and I think you can apply this information to any business. These are
For sure.
core business principles that we're going to be talking about. But a little bit about my journey, for those of you who are new and don't know me. I know a lot of you don't know me. So I recently quit my job July 4th, right,
Yes.
Kim? Yeah.
July 4th.
Yeah, July 4th. So this is something that I've been working towards for years. It's been a big goal of mine. So what I do is content creator. Call myself a creative entrepreneur. I do a lot of creative type stuff, content creation. I do freelancing work. Everything I do is revolved around video, UGC content. So at the moment, I'm doing a bunch of different things, um, and I've been enjoying it. Like I said, I've been working at this stuff for years. So my journey started. With me starting on YouTube. That's how I got into video and built up a lot of these skills that I now do full time. So I used to have a fitness channel. That was my first channel. This was my videographer, my wife. She would film me, help me with all my content, right?
Yes.
And she could tell you, like, I was just doing it for fun. I was just doing it for fun, just to document my journey. I was
Yeah.
very passionate about fitness. I'm like, hey, I want people to see this passion. I want people to experience this passion that I have for fitness, because I love it. I want to teach people and help them, get to where I got. So
Mhm.
I just started kind of just sharing my knowledge.
Yeah.
Struggled a lot, but really loved the process of just creating YouTube videos, hopping on video and helping people. So tried to monetize fitness, doing fitness coaching, stuff like that. Didn't have a lot of success, but this was my first time in the online space trying to figure stuff out. That's part of being an entrepreneur. You are going to fail a lot, right? And that's something that I've really just been reflecting on. It's like how much I've failed. Like just thinking to things that I've tried and they didn't work out. And at the
Mhm.
time, you may get so down on yourself and think like, oh, am I cut out for this? This is never going to work. But that is part of the journey. If I had never failed at those things, I would never be here. You see what I'm saying? So just
Mhm.
flipping that mindset of it wasn't a failure. I learned and then I applied it moving forward, and that's what got me in this position today. So I don't want to touch on this too long, but after that, started up another YouTube channel. Grew that one very fast. Started to invest in myself more, figuring out different ways to monetize myself and the skills that I had learned from content creation. So I started doing freelancing. I started helping other YouTubers, and that's pretty much how it started. Right? I just started to invest more into my knowledge. I started to figure out different money making opportunities online, and then I just started to scale from there and get better each year. So that's my story. Anything about my story that I missed, Kimmo? What do you think?
He is a hard worker. I think we're both hard workers, but I think that Adrian is the type of person that if he's going to do something, he's going to go all freaking out. He's going to ace it. I think backstory on us, we grew up together. We didn't date or anything like that. But we did go to the same high school and stuff like that. And so I think he's always been that push of a person. Like he's going to ace everything. He's going to nail everything. And so I think it's so cool to see him at every aspect in his life and like kind of like, okay, this is my peak of that and I can't get any further. Now what? what's my next thing? What's my next whatever? And I admire that because I'm obviously, I just said, almost 14 years into the same industry, and I've stuck in that same field because I think it's my comfort zone, right? I mean, yeah, things have tweaked and I've, the boss thing and me being my own boss, that's one thing. But I mean, I'm still in that same, kind of thing. And he just does it all. So there's nothing he doesn't do. I love it.
Yeah. I think you have to evolve,
Yeah, you do.
right? Even with this channel, you'll see my recent videos have changed. I haven't like made one video talking about it, but I'm evolving as a person. I'm evolving as a content creator. And I used to be scared to, like, not scared, but had a little bit of fear when it came to change. But the
Mm,
older I've gotten, especially with entrepreneurship and all these side hustles, like, change is part of the game.
yeah,
You
for
know what I
sure.
mean? Like, if you're not willing to adapt and change, you're not going to have success as an entrepreneur, because
For
that's
sure.
like the main thing that you're going to be doing. It's okay, I'm trying this, it's not working. Okay, I have to change. I have to pivot,
Mhm.
right? Or maybe like you realize 5 years later, like, I envision a different brand for myself. So at that point, you may want to pivot, right? I think we talked about pivoting AOK, or
Mhm.
maybe, I don't know if I ever brought that up to you, but I was thinking about it at one point, like switching up our brand in a sense to
Yes.
focus maybe more on a certain thing. Like the it's a part of business. I would say if you do not like change, if you're not willing to pivot, if you're not willing to try new things, I don't think entrepreneurship is for you,
Mm,
because it is a lot of adjustments and changes you have to make to continue to have success and to get to that next level that you're striving for. What do you
for
think, Kimmel?
sure. I totally agree. Because even like with what I just said, I mean, that was when I just
Change, right? Big change.
switched salons recently, I didn't plan on that. So when
Right.
I was kind of hit with all that, I was like, oh my gosh, now what? I came home
Mhm.
and told Adrian, hey, I'm switching salons. He was like, wait, what? What do you mean? Like, no idea. I had to go with my gut feeling that I had to think of the future. And
Mhm.
thankfully, I think it was the best. I left on good terms, yes, but I just wanted more for myself, and I think I owed it to my clients to see the best of myself. And I think when you're in such a, I wasn't in a funk, but I was in kind of like a, I don't really know where this is
Things were
going.
getting stale.
Yeah, kind of like just, I don't really know what to say from here,
What's the
and
word to describe it though? That how you were feeling?
a slump.
Like lost
I can definitely say lost. Kind of, I don't know
or
where to
stuck?
go. Yeah, yeah.
Stuck.
I didn't know
That
where to
that
go.
brings that brings up a great point. Of just feeling stuck. I felt like that plenty of times, where it's like you're doing this thing consistently, you've been doing it for a while, and then you reach a kind of like a slump period.
Hmm.
So it's like, how do you dig yourself out of that? Like what do you think kind of got you out of that? Was it the new scenery?
New scenery, being around different people. I think
Mm,
sometimes you have to take yourself out of situations to see, like, dang, I didn't realize how stressed I was until I'm out of the whole situation. And now I'm taking
mm,
a step back and looking like, dang, I have more time, more patience, just all around, just everything is just check, 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 check
mhm,
for the better. And I didn't know that until now. Um,
mm.
I
So it
think,
took you changing up your whole scene
yeah,
scenery.
absolutely. Hmm.
Like you literally moved into a different place,
Yes, yes.
and you felt like once you moved here, like your motivation level,
Oh,
your
everything.
vision, your motivation
Mhm.
just
And I'm
turned
not
up.
and I'm not saying that you, as people, I
Mhm,
think it's one thing to be like you could tell me good job. I could have the best confidence or whatever, but like what we're talking about, if you get stuck or you're in this weird like transition like don't know where to go, kind of
mhm,
lost like you said, um being around people, focusing on the positives, like thinking like, man, it's not that bad. Like, what did I do today? I might have not did 10 things that I needed to do, but I did one of the things of the 10 that I did need to do. Or,
mm,
I'm not in the position I really want to be in yet, but I'm taking the steps to get there. So I'm
mm.
making progress in my own. You can't look at anybody else. You can't
In
even
your
think.
own way.
Yeah, you can't. Because if you do that too, that's like such a disaster type of, you're already on the wrong path. Because if you do that, it's not gonna work.
I
That's just
actually think that can slow down your growth,
yeah, for sure.
paying attention too much to what other people do, because I think as people we have a natural like feeling and desire of just well, more so a feeling of just comparing ourselves. I think that's like a normal thing that people do.
Absolutely,
Like,
it is.
come on, let's be for real. It's
It
just
is.
it's our human nature to look at other things and compare, right?
Yes.
But I think it's something that can actually, if you let it get too bad, it can start to hurt you because
Mm,
now I think you can kind of get in your own way too much because you're just focused on comparing, right?
yeah.
You've kind of lost touch with your mission and your goals because now you're just focused on what Susie is doing, right? And now you're trying to figure out, well, Susie, she has so many clients. Why don't I have a client? See how like your mindset has just changed. Instead of growth, now it's fear and it's oh, why not me? Why not this?
Yeah.
Like that's what you're gonna do when you compare. That's all
Yeah.
you're gonna do, right? Come on, just
Never,
why don't I have this? Why don't isn't this working? And it's working for her.
never. Hmm.
What do you think?
Well, I definitely agree. I definitely agree. You
Yeah.
can't. It's hard not to do it because, like you said, it's human
Mhm.
nature. But I think when you look at where you came from, what you did, where you are in life, all the different things, like you have to like basically like put yourself out there to say like I'm self-worthy of blah 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 blah. Like you have to believe that because if you think, okay, well, I'm gonna be stuck at this position, whatever it be, job, life, whatever, stuck in a town you don't want to be in, whatever it is, and you think to yourself like, all right, screw this. Every day is like super negative. Well, of course you're not going to excel because you're being so negative about it. Like we know plenty of people like this.
Mhm.
And I think it's easy to get in that mindset because every now and then, yes, like you need a personal day. You need time to think. You need time to regroup. You need time to, hey, you know what? Those dishes ain't clean, but it's all right because I did 10 things today,
Yeah. That's
So,
something that we truly work on, and even the negative stuff, we've started to kind of nip that a lot. We do it more in a joking manner. I usually mess with Kimmel. I'm like, oh, you're being negative. Stop being
yeah.
negative. And she's like,
I
shut
am
up.
I am the worst of that. What's so funny is a lot of my clients will say, "Kimberly, you're always so happy, you're always so positive," but little do they know I'm not. I'm not. My mind's always racing. I have a lot of anxiety with just things I can't control. So my mind is always thinking of like, okay, yeah, that's right, but could have been better. Or whatever it is. I'm never pleased. I will be the first one to tell you that I'm not. Um, but being negative also can make you never feel comfortable. And I don't think anybody should ever feel comfortable. So I think it's a good thing too. Like it's bad, of course, but it's also great because then I don't feel comfortable. So my clients thinking of that way, that's great. That's a uh, who wants to sit down in a chair where the hairstylist or barber or whoever is being super ugly or negative or rude? No one wants to get their hair cut like that.
Yeah,
But
no,
that's how I pretend. Yeah.
yeah, negative people. I mean, nobody, unless they're negative too, maybe they want to be around negative people, but like nobody wants to work with somebody that's negative. Like it doesn't even matter it could be what I do, like coaching and freelance. Like I'm talking with clients and stuff. Like, why would they want to work with me if I had a negative vibe or a negative outlook on things? So positivity is, I think, a big thing for just continuing down that entrepreneur path. Just staying positive, man, even when things aren't going right. It's like I think the people that can still see the good and see and remain positive are people that have usually have greater success. I feel like just because their mindset is it's just more positive, right? So I think those type of people they're going to respond better to things versus someone else, negative mindset, they fail or something like that. It's like, oh, why me? Oh, this. It's like it's hard to continue to grow with that way of thinking. I feel
Mhm,
like
for
Vision
sure.
with the photo bomb. That's our
I
one of
know.
our cats. Super sweet girl. She's
Vision
probably about
Ray.
to fall asleep.
She's about to be 9. Yeah, 9.
Yeah. So let's pivot. We're gonna touch on common mistakes
Mm.
new entrepreneurs make. Um, what are some things you wish you knew earlier?
Whew.
Some
I would
mistakes you
say
made.
know your worth. Know your worth and know your so I'm gonna touch on that in just a second. Know your worth and definitely know your expenses. Like I feel like sometimes we ignore like, oh, that's just $5, that's just $20, that's just whatever. No, you need to know those things because you need to price accordingly. So whatever that is, if you got to buy food, obviously it's going to spoil. You have to buy certain things that are going to expire. Those things matter. Personally, of course, I cut hair, so I don't do color and all that stuff. I just like only do haircuts, which I am so thankful for. So I don't have to buy color and all that kind of stuff. So I don't have to worry about that too much. But buying new blades and clippers and those kind of things, those add up. Those still add up. Chemicals that I have to clean my utensils with. Like he said earlier, I do a lot of things manually. I know that sounds silly, but it's true. But knowing your worth, as in, you're your own brand. So when you're self-employed, so many things go into it. I would sit down and literally I write down everything. I have mini lists everywhere. Christmas is around the corner and I can't tell you how many times I've written down everybody's presents because I'm gonna forget. I'm just crazy like that. But write down everything. I mean, ideas, your expenses, your future goals, your like I said, your worth part, that's tricky because to me, I'm my own product, as in I do everything myself. So I'm putting a price on myself, which is very, very, very scary. But I know I'm worth that. I actually just raised my prices this week. So it's been, yeah, this Monday. So it was very scary and I was stressed out because I get my little feelings into it, but you can't do that. You can't do that. Because if you want something at Walmart or wherever, you're going to go get it and you're not going to realize or care that it's $1 or $2 more. You're still going to want that item. You still have to have that item. You want deodorant's gone up, I don't know, crazy amount of money, and we still all need it. So we still buy it. So I think expenses for sure, you got to get that down. Knowing your worth. What's something else? Your niche. So when we did photography, we didn't really know. We thought, oh my gosh, we want to do this. There was too much going on. Everybody called us for every little occasion, and we thought we had to take job. Well, we got burnt out quick because we didn't know what we were doing, and it was very frustrating because
Yeah.
do you cater to these people or that person or whatever? That's tricky. Even like me, my customers, I have a very broad, from babies to 9-year-olds, but again, just cutting hair, easy. You ain't gotta worry about it too much. Money is just, it's all pretty much the same what my cost is. But yeah, it's there's little stuff, but those are my key points for sure.
So sum those up again. Keep.
So knowing your worth, your expenses, and I would say write down literally everything, your goals, your future goals, stuff like that. Anything that matters to you it's kind of like, when a bomb goes off and you're just like, oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start. That's why the lists come intact.
Yeah, because you know.
Yeah, you're writing down literally
So
everything.
you think these are things that new entrepreneurs don't do that they need to do?
Yes, absolutely. Because I think it's easy to say, oh, I want to, like we said, photography. Oh, I want to do this. And you go buy a camera and you just put a post on Facebook or whatever. And you're like, okay, let me just see what happens. No, that's not good because there's just so much that can happen that can go wrong. Like, I don't think any business should do that. I think any business should sit down and they should really, either themselves, their person they're working with, whoever, you got to have it all planned out. That's just my opinion.
I agree. I disagree a little bit, but I agree. Come on, no, I'll disagree.
Why do you disagree?
But that's what make decisions. I mean, discussions cool because you
What do you disagree?
have different viewpoints. But as far as what I think about common mistakes new entrepreneurs make, I would say the first one is trying to have everything figured out in that starting initial phase. You know what I mean? Like, you're like trying to get the website, you're trying to get logos and post here. You're trying to start.
See, if you had a list, you could check stuff off. Like, okay, website.
Yeah, but true. But I'm saying, like, people try to start perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
no.
to where they're not necessarily taking the necessary actions that actually move the needle to make money and to get the business flowing. But it's all these little hurdles of websites and advertising, all this stuff. And it's like, just start. Like, you don't have to have it all figured out. Good point. I think that's one of the biggest things that I've learned is especially if I'm trying to do something new, to
Mhm.
just hop into it and I can learn as I go. Now, obviously, going
Mhm.
into it, I want to know a little bit of something. I'm not saying just hop into stuff blindly with no preparation, but don't be afraid to start messy. Like, meaning you're still figuring stuff out. I think that's the best
You
experience. That's the
kinda
best teacher.
give yourself time, and yeah, I can agree with
Yeah,
that.
but I'm saying that first, you just need to start because I think a lot of people just get stuck in the beginning and they're like, "Oh,
Mhm.
I don't know what to do," and then they constantly think about it till they get paralyzed. And it's like, just start. Like, okay, you want to be a photographer? Just start. I don't know, going to people in your family and taking photos. Like,
Okay, I
that
agree with
took
that.
nothing to think of that. You see what I'm saying? Versus the other guys, like, oh, I need the website. I need. You don't need none of that stuff. Start taking photos.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? Right? Okay, you want to be a YouTuber. Start creating videos. Oh, what about upload times? Oh, what about thumbnails? Forget all that stuff. Just start recording. Do you get what I'm saying?
yeah, no, that
Like
makes
you're,
sense.
you're you're going to learn as you go. And I think just a lot of us hold ourselves back in that sense of
Yeah,
thinking
'cause
everything has to be aligned perfectly when
yes.
you start and you have to have every piece of the puzzle like set up.
I definitely would agree with that because I think, yeah, I mean, you can psych yourself out too much to where you won't do anything. I
Yeah.
feel like that sometimes.
Or
Um,
you may not even start till like a year later because you're in this stupid planning phase for too long. You see what I'm saying?
okay, well, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like, dude, just get out there and take action. The best thing you can do as an entrepreneur, starting some kind of business, whatever, is to take action. It doesn't matter if it's the wrong action, you're going to learn. You can adjust, right? That's just part of the game, but you need to get in the trenches and start doing the work,
Yeah.
depending on what that business model is. I think that's the biggest mistake. I think another common mistake is, I would say, and we're just kind of going off the top right now. So this is real raw, uncut. I
Not
would
the
say price.
dome.
I would say pricing.
Yeah, that's what
I
I said.
think pricing. I think people get hung up on that a lot. Um,
You're saying they don't price accordingly? Are you saying
as a new entrepreneur,
mhm,
yeah, like they don't, like Kimball talked about, not understanding like expenses.
mhm,
Like you're not just pricing on the actual, for example, when we were Zoe photographers, like you're not just pricing when we go out and shoot. So we may look at it and be like, oh, that just took 30 minutes. Like, how could I charge $100?
yeah,
You see what I'm saying? But like, do you know all the small little things that led up to the shoot, the planning after the shoot? You see what I'm saying? So I think a lot of people don't think about these things when it comes to pricing. Now, I get it. If you're new, you may not know. But once you know these things, you need to start making the necessary changes. Because some people, from what I see, they stay in that type of thinking and pricing. And it's like, dude, that's not sustainable.
yeah,
You
that's
get
true.
what I'm saying? Like it's a lot that goes into pricing.
It's kind of
Go
why I
ahead.
went up on my I was gonna say I went up on my prices recently. Looking at everything, looking at my expenses. Again, I said that because of what I just dealt with. Um, we were priced at a very, very low pricing from the company I worked for that when I jumped to do my own thing, I was like, I want so many people to follow me. I don't want to go up too high, right? Because you want to keep the people. But then now I have
Mhm.
expenses where before I was working for someone, I was getting paid. Now I'm not getting paid. I gotta pay my rent and then get paid on whatever else.
So you
So
really have to change your pricing model.
correct, yes.
Yeah.
So like me, I didn't go up that high, and I kind of regretted that now because here I am now, 2.5 years later. Now I think I'm set where I need to be, and I don't think I would go up. Again, I'm very, very close with my clients. Some I've had the entire time, some I've had 10 plus years. So a lot of them are on like I don't know fixed incomes, that kind of thing. Everything's tight right now. You don't want to be that person, but reality is you're not there for just laughs and giggles. Like you're literally there to make money. So I have to take my feelings to the side for a little bit and say no. After your expenses, after your rent, after this, after that, after putting things to the side, this is what you're making. You're not making whatever this price is as you're charging, you're making
Mm.
this. So even though you're
Great
saying,
point. Great
and
point.
when you're buying all these things at the stores, or you're putting that whatever on it, any kind of platforms you use, any kind of what is it? What you know what I'm trying to say? Um, your payment plan things, whatever you're trying, anything that nature, they're going to take their expenses out. So you're not making that. I have to explain that to some of my clients because they don't know. They truly don't know. And I say it very nicely because they say, oh well, you just went up and da da da. Actually, my brother, he was the one that actually just mentioned it recently, which he doesn't even pay for haircuts, y'all. So I'm like, why are you even saying anything about it? Anyway, he mentioned like, didn't you just go up? I'm like, no, actually, I didn't. But let me explain why I need to go up. And I told him my worth is worth not. I can't even put a price on that, right? I have to remind myself of that because again, I get in this weird. That's the biggest challenge I think I've had being alone and being my own boss is knowing that everything is on you, but yet you got to be confident enough to know your worth. But then at the same time, are you your own? What was that word we would always say, Adrian? Are you your own? Dang it! You know what I'm trying to.
Worst critic.
Not worth. No, something else. I'm gonna think of it in a second. Anyway, you have to know your worth of what you're charging, but also to making profit after expenses.
I was just going to say that because I would even say just charging accordingly is more important than knowing your worth, right? Because if you're not charging accordingly, I'm talking about like to keep the business running,
Mm-hmm.
to actually make profit, you're not going to be in business long.
No,
So just from that standpoint,
we
that's
see
such a
that all the
small thing to say, but that's how it is. If you're not charging right and you have expenses and you're not understanding expenses, taxes, how the heck you going to stay in business if you
time. We
if
see
you in the negative all the
businesses
time? Yeah,
closing down right now, and I'm
yeah.
not saying it all falls on them by all means. I'm not saying that at all. There's so many things that go into play with that. However, I can promise you a lot of times too they're not charging or okay, let's think restaurant. You got your building, your insurance, whatever you're buying, your ins and outs of what comes in and out, meaning food stuff like that. You're also paying your employees. You're buying sometimes alcohol, whatever are those things. Once you add all those things up, water, electricity, all that kind of stuff. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm saying charge what you're saying accordingly and knowing your worth, both those things together to know that okay, even though I bought the soda water for 50 cents, I'm actually going to put 250 on it. Because guess what? People like me, I'm going out for the experience and stuff and food. I'm going to pay that 250. It is what it is.
You got to
Yeah.
charge it right. I think that's probably one of the biggest mistakes that I made for sure is the charging,
Yeah.
and still not the best at pricing. I still have work and kind of seeing my numbers over the years, and it's like okay, I need to charge more here, and it's
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily like that. I've just completely leveled up the service. It's just like for this sustainability of what I'm doing,
I'm
I
going to
need to charge more,
Yes. Yes.
right? So, and it's nothing wrong with that because I mean, that's the point of a business is to make money and to stay in business and continue to serve people in whatever ever way you're serving them. Like I said, I do coaching and UGC helping businesses with their products and services to get out there. Even as a restaurant, you're serving people like food. That's a
Mhm.
big deal to a lot of people. Kimberly, she makes people look good. So we're serving people in different ways, but to continue to do that, you
Well,
have to charge accordingly, or you're
well,
not going to be able to stay in business.
and something I'm going to talk about on that. People are coming to you for a service. I am going to blah 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 because, for example, Adrian, I don't do any kind of marketing stuff. Luckily, I'm in a position I don't have to do that. But I don't. I am not tech savvy. Like he had to put all this stuff together, and if I needed anything done, I would pay for someone or pay him to do what I need to because I can't do it. People are coming to me because they can't cut their own hair. For they're going to a restaurant because they want that steak. They can't make that steak. You have to know that you are important and people are coming to you for a service. Period. When I have my washer break, I got to call somebody to come and fix it. We don't know how to fix washers, but we're gonna pay whatever they're asking for because we need it done right. And obviously, again, back to the service industry, I can't do that. You're in the service industry. There's so many things that go into it, but you got to know that you are a value to others.
For sure. Um, I think that's part of something that just keeps you in the game. Like
Yeah, for
just
sure.
just realizing the impact of what you do and how you are helping people and serving people. And that's something that for me, and I know for my wife, it gives us a lot of fulfillment, just knowing that the impact that we've had on people
Oh,
with
absolutely.
these ways that we make money. Right.
Yes.
So it's, yeah, of
Do
course I
it.
want to make money. Who doesn't want to make money? And that's great. But it's like on a deeper level, I also want fulfillment.
Mm,
You see what I'm saying? So it's like, what's that for you in your business? You see
right,
what I'm
right.
saying? Because if it's just like money, I don't know if that's enough. I don't know. Not for
I
me.
don't. I don't think so.
Not for me. It's like it has to be something else there. Whether it's I really, really enjoy that thing, right? In the process of it, or maybe just the feedback that I get from the people that I help or seeing them achieve a goal. Like that does something for me here. It's like, dang, I helped them get here. And just seeing how happy they are, you know what I'm saying? Like for you, that may, it's different business, but like seeing them in their pictures. And it's like they tell you something like, oh, thank you, Kimberly. I was so worried about the wedding and you made me look perfect. And it's so happy. It's like,
Yeah.
dang, man, that's cool. You know what I mean? So like just like my wife, she touched on a lot about just knowing your worth. And I think these are things that you're not going to see it as much in the beginning of being an entrepreneur or if you're side hustling or whatever. But I think as you start to learn yourself more, you get deeper into it, you start to realize stuff like that. And you start to see what's that main mover for you as far as like keeping that passion and that spark, right? It's like, okay, yeah, I do this for the money, but I really do it for stuff like that. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like that does something to me.
Yeah.
That's what I think. But we're gonna pivot and move on to the next topic. So juicy one, y'all. This is gonna be a long video. Come on, we're halfway. So I'll try to put the timestamps, y'all. But we said we were gonna do like podcast style. Maybe we'll make it a regular thing. If Kimbo wants to
I'm
join.
down. I'm down.
Yeah, she's usually beat from work because she
Eat.
she goes super hard and
Go ham.
she's tired. So I don't want her to be getting off and then like, hey, let's record this video for an hour and a half. Right. Next topic is marketing and branding. Ooh, juicy, right?
Juicy.
Um, I'm looking at my notes over here. I have a couple notes. I said this was off the top. What we're saying is off the top, but
Off the dome.
building a brand that people trust.
Mm.
What do you gotta what do you gotta say about that?
For my own.
How important is that and how would you go about doing it?
So again, I'm pretty lucky from the company I was working for prior. They allowed us to take all clientele with us, meaning we closed down. So there was nothing I could do. So I was able to give business cards. Adrian had, when I knew this was going to happen, I knew the company was going to close down. I immediately ran to get clothes to do branding photos. And we got business cards made. And I, of course, immediately passed out my number to everyone. And prayed that everybody followed me. Luckily they did follow me, and I am in a position where I do not market on social media. However, people do add me on Facebook, stuff like that, and I do post on like my stories randomly just for them to get an insight of how we are, because something that makes me different from other stylists is I'm super super close with my clients. I send them pet pictures. Yesterday I had a lady mention, hey, do you know where I can go get a dress at, blah blah, I have a wedding coming up. And I saw something online earlier that said a place was closing down, so I immediately screenshot it and sent it to her. I pay attention to those things. I'm very close with my clients. I'm very into it. Some people like it, some people don't. But something that makes me different from others is being respectful, being on time, being on point, answering my phone immediately. Because let's be real, if you are calling a lawn service and you call three, let's just say you call three and only one responds, typically you're probably going with that first person that responds. It's good customer service. So something that makes me different when it comes to marketing. What was the other like
Just
key
marketing and branding tips. We're
branding?
talking about building a brand that people trust.
Okay, so something that I like about that is customer service. Customer service is huge. Huge. I cannot tell you. I don't know where the heck it's going lately. Don't know. I feel like a lot of people do not have it. However, if you walk in a store and somebody says, "Hey, good morning. How are you doing today? Hope you're doing great." Blah blah. You might not be in the morning. You might not be a morning person. I'm not a morning person, but I could tell you, I appreciate that person speaking to me.
Mhm.
Right.
Makes you
So
want to shop there.
correct.
Yeah.
So people that are on time, even though I don't go to, can I name brands? Can I do that? Or
Yeah.
you don't care? Okay. Something that I get bunt cakes, nothing bunt cakes, for special occasions. I don't go there often, but they send out text messages every single week. I don't dislike it. It makes me think about them. I'll tell you that. There's plenty of places that I'm like, man, I don't really like them, or I don't like so and so that works for them, or what. It could be anything. But I could tell you, I will pick that person or those people because of their marketing, because of their customer service, because they are always on point, because they answer my phone calls. They are, always on all these things matter. All these things matter when it comes to customer service. So to me, a branding slash marketing thing is um, Target, for example, favorite store. Why? Because I know when I go in there, it's at our store. I can't relate for others, but for ours, it is clean. People are nice. I get what I need. They're always open usually. They have very cute things. I always get ads. It's a mind thing. If you keep seeing certain things, you're gonna immediately think about it.
Mm.
That's what I think. So I think it's
Okay.
important to be on top of your game 24/7. Meaning, you might not always feel the best, look the best, whatever, but you need to be on top of your stuff. That's just me. That's what
Yeah.
keeps me, going. You know what I mean?
She touched on more on how to stand out in a crowded market, which is we were going to get into that a little bit later.
Oh, sorry.
But as far as building a brand people trust, um, what do you think goes into that?
Just
What goes into trust in offering a service and having a business? Like, how do
in
you get people to trust you?
in
To
my in my opinion, just you always got to nail it. And if you can't, you need to value that customer or whoever maybe was right about something, or maybe you messed up, and you need to
Mhm.
own when you messed up, right? Because
Mm.
stuff happens, right? It's life. Come on. Do you think I immediately make the same haircut every 2 weeks on this person? Usually, yes, but sometimes I might hit an L. The other day, I had a guy was like, "Hey, can I come back in for a tweak?" I was like, "Did I mess something up?" I literally text back. I was like, come in tomorrow, like immediately. What's wrong?" And he comes in, he's like laughing. He's like, "Kimberly, I just wanted to go shorter on top." I was like, "Dude, you scared the crap out of me all night."
Yo,
And here I
yeah.
am thinking, that
She
I
lost
jacked
some
his
sleep.
setup.
You probably
You
couldn't even
know?
sleep.
I was like, "Oh my God, this dude's got, I plugged him or something." I don't know, but I did it. The reality was that he just wanted it shorter, but he trusts that, he can come back to me and I'm gonna fix whatever I need to fix. So what I'm saying is, if I were to mess up, and I didn't charge him, by the way, I did not charge him. I do a lot of things for different people. It's just kind of one of those things. Like, I don't want these people to walk around for 2 weeks or a week or whatever with a jacked up haircut or something they wanted fixed. And it's my fault if I didn't do something right. So I'm owning that. And they trust that they can come to me and trust that I'm going to be on time. I'm going to look professional. Um, and I'm going to give my all. Period. I can
So
say that for no
so
matter
you
what.
show up
Yes.
and
Mm-hmm.
100%
100%
consistently.
consistently. And
Yeah,
again,
which
this
I can attest to that. I mean, she
yes,
doesn't play around when it comes to customer service, showing up
no,
on time, like
I
just
don't.
just
I really
being very serious about her clients.
don't.
And that's something that
Yeah.
um I mean, you got to respect that. You got to, because it's a lot of people that aren't like that. Um and that's why they probably a lot of those people are struggling, because you're not showing up consistently and doing the necessary work. um But I think, going into that too, of to touch on that, building a brand people trust, I think you have to trust yourself. Zoe. You know what I mean? Like,
You do have to trust yourself. You do.
do you trust yourself in your abilities? Because I think if you do, I think that shows, right? I think part of why a lot of my wife's clients trust her, Zoe, is because it's obvious that she trusts herself,
Mm-hmm.
and she's serious about what she's doing
Mm-hmm.
because of how she shows up. You see what I'm saying? Like, let's get down to it, right? If I trust myself, if I trust what I'm doing, if I trust my service, I trust my product, that's going to show.
Mm-hmm.
As
Yeah,
I'm switching to me more as a content creator, online type person, right?
definitely.
So I think that's, people can sense that, they can see that. So I would ask you, do you even trust what you're doing? That's our dog. Sorry.
All right.
Um, but moving on, still on the marketing and branding tips. Another point, content strategies that work. My wife, she doesn't really use social media because she has consistent clientele. She doesn't need to, which I tell her she should be um, thankful and grateful that she don't have to
All the time.
consistently market. Like, she doesn't have to market. I mean, that's crazy,
No,
right?
I don't. I don't. I don't. I'm
What
not.
form of
I'm
marketing that you do? Well, you do posts and stuff sometimes.
I post on my stories every now and then, but before it was like, hey, I have openings on this day or whatever. I don't even do that anymore. What I found that works for me and my clientele is that less is better,
Mm,
right? So no website they have to ask, because here's the thing: there are people like me out there that, yes, don't get me wrong, these nice Pizza Hut, websites, all that kind of stuff. Stop. Um, are good to order the pizzas online, all that kind of stuff. But I can get better and quicker results with the telephone. I am one of those that still calls. That's just me. I still like hand receipts to keep as documents, because if my email or something else messes up tomorrow, now what are we going to do? We're stuck. So personally, less is better for my clients. No
mm.
websites. I text them. They get a
So
calendar.
catering to your clients'
Hmm.
needs and what fits them best.
Correct.
So
Yes.
you've altered,
Hmm.
not really altered because you kind of do stuff that way, but you've
Hmm.
formed it in a way to where, okay, this
Yes.
serves my clients
Uh-huh.
the best way that makes it easy for them.
Yep.
I like that. I think that's a gem. Like,
I think it is, because I think I could do things the way I want it. And I'm gonna
uh-huh.
tell you right now, it's not what everybody would want. It's
Yeah.
not. And I sometimes can get, that's where I think I can get in my head a little bit, because I'm like, dang man, if only I could, blah, 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 blah. But again, I would lose people. So I have to remind myself that that's not the case, because I have a lot of older people, that they don't want to be calling or doing no website or whatever. They want to just come in, sit down, get their hair cut, and get out. They don't want all that stuff. They don't want all the fancy smancy stuff. It's nice, but my clients are very chill. They're very consistent. They're very again, just get my hair cut, let's go. Like, I'm ready to go. And I love that, because that's how I am. I don't like all that stuff. If
Which
you're
is fine. I mean, you don't have to do. That's part of, like, the entrepreneurship journey of, like, you don't, because you see so many people teaching stuff and it's like, oh, maybe I have to do it this way because so and so said it. No,
right,
you got
right.
to figure out what works for you and works for your business model and your clients,
Yeah,
right? The way that my wife does stuff may not be the way that I do stuff, which is fine, but and she can continue to do it that way because it works for her.
yeah,
She doesn't have to change just because everybody says, oh, everything has to be automated.
yeah.
Okay, but I mean, if it ain't broke, what am I trying to fix?
Mhm. I
Is that
agree.
the saying, or did I say that wrong?
No,
If it
that
ain't
is
broke,
right.
don't fix it, right?
It's
Yeah.
yeah,
I was trying to remember. I was like, I probably said it wrong. But like, it's working,
yeah.
right? And I'm real big on, if something is working, I mean, I don't think you really want to mess with it too much,
Mm-mm.
because I think you can mess things up. And
Yeah,
I've learned that, like, seeing stuff working with the online stuff I do, maybe on YouTube or some of these freelancing platforms, or just, I don't know, it could be sales with clients or something, like
yeah.
sales calls. And then it's like, just changing up stuff for no reason. And it's like, well, Adrian, what are you doing?
It's kind of like when your phone updates and you're like, man, I don't know where this is at no more. I
Right,
hate that. I hate that. I hate phone stuff.
right. Okay, let's move on to the next topic. Another juicy one: how to find clients and customers. Mm, what you think?
I was gonna say I kind of touched on that a little
What
bit.
are what are some effective networking strategies? Do you implement that in your business model? Networking?
Um,
It doesn't
kind of.
have to be like traditional networking. It could be soft networking. Maybe it could just be talking to people
I
or mentioning.
I
Uh,
have personally found that what I do best is my mouth. I'm a very vocal person, so I might throw a little here and there, little gems where they don't even know I'm actually marketing myself. So I will say, like, oh, I seen such and such. You went to blah blah. I know da 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 da. He is the blah blah of that restaurant. I don't know. I just make up something along the line, like not make it up, but tag it with something that can relate to this person, right? And then it's kind of like, because again, once that person goes to that restaurant, they're gonna think of you. You get where I'm going with that? Like you have to attach yourself to these things, and you're low key getting in there without even trying to do it.
mm,
It's kind of like it's a tactic that I like to do. It's different. It's kind of confusing, but basically as if I have different families I cut, and so word of mouth is big with them. But something that I think I'm good at is I'm good with kids. I bring books and stuff like that, so people will say, "Oh, she's really good with kids." Blah blah, and I will tell them I'm very confident in that. I will do
yeah.
whatever it takes. I will get on the ground. I will do whatever. Stop it. I will do whatever it takes
They
to,
get on the ground. Not
yeah,
the ground.
literally on the ground with these kids. Because I have special needs kids and stuff like that, so I do cater to my clients in different ways. But something that again that works for me is word of mouth, and then also, like I said, I try to create this bubble of like I have all these people and they all connect some weird way.
Mm,
Like I
I
said,
like that.
I like to mention things to people. And again, I'm not physically marketing, but I am because that person's going to remember, oh man, she told me, like I said earlier about getting close with them. Oh, she's the one that told me about the dress. They come to me for my haircut, but they come to me for so many other things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's smart. I like that.
kind
Of
of tricky.
like a subtle way of mentioning things and not
Yeah.
necessarily because some people they're very pushy
Yes,
with their
that's what I mean.
marketing and especially if it's like networking in person. And
Yes.
I think I personally don't like that. Like just someone coming up to me and being very pushy about something. I think it's important to kind of, like my wife said, kind of being slick with it. And she knows me. I'm not even really a people person like talking to a lot of people. I'm
Mhm.
more quiet. Because you told me recently, you were like, you should mention because I do the Amazon influencer program. So with some of those products, I'll sell them just because we don't need it or we don't have the room for it or something.
Yeah,
So
I
I'm
remember.
like getting like double commission, like from the influencer program, but then the reselling, right? And my wife was like, "Why don't you mention your channel to these people or something?" Didn't you tell me that?
I did. So
Yeah,
instead of, and again, not being pushy, but just saying like, say he sells something, he can easily send that person the review of the video that he did, link it to that, so send the link and then just say, "Hey, if you have any questions about this product, here's my review of it."
yeah. Here's my
And
channel.
then say on the opposite end, say, "And here's my channel if you're
Yeah,
willing."
it's just a way of kind of like plugging
Yeah.
marketing my channel, but not a like obtrusive way of bringing it on
Yes.
someone. It's like it goes with the conversation
Hmm.
because someone may ask like, "Oh, how do I do this?" It's like, "Oh, well, you could check this out on my channel." So I
Yes.
think when it comes to marketing, if especially like in person, like to not be pushy and think about like, um, I think talking about maybe something that you have a service or business when it makes sense and
Yes.
being very subtle about it. Because I don't think people like pushy, like, oh, check me out here, blah, 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 for this and that when they didn't even, it has nothing to do with a conversation or something. You know what I mean? I think the more natural you can be with people as far as like marketing and letting things come
Hmm.
naturally, I think the better results you can get from it. So that may be like you becoming friends with someone, and then like later on, because of like what y'all are talking about, you mention your service because you know it could
Yes.
help her. You see what I'm saying? But it's like you weren't worried about that in the beginning.
You're
Like
not
you really wanted to build a friendship with this person. So it's natural marketing,
Mhm.
right? Because like, oh, well, I noticed my friend has a YouTube channel. Oh, I help with YouTube channels. Like, bro, man, I
And
can help you
also,
with your channel, you know?
back to networking, it could be the smallest. Like, you remember that one girl I saw at the store, and I said, "Oh my gosh, your makeup's so pretty." Adrian's always like, "Oh my gosh, you compliment so many people," but it's getting out there. It's if you are scared or you're nervous. Adrian is an introvert, as he mentioned. He is one. Stop it. Sorry, our dogs are fighting over a toy I just gave him. Um, he is an introvert, and if he is out somewhere, he's not one to really always go and speak first. He's just not that type of person. But he's gotten so much better. But it's the little stuff like, oh, I like your shoes. Simple things. Usually somebody's going to say, I got them from blah, blah, blah. See, it's all about a word game. I don't know. So I mentioned that a girl, she really was pretty. I'm not exaggerating. She actually is a makeup artist here in town, but she didn't even tell me she was a makeup artist. I found out later, and I was like, she should have gave me a card right then. Not again, I'm saying that because that's what I would have done. But I mean, again, she's not me. But I think now she's gotten her marketing down to the point. But if it was me, I'd be like, I actually do makeup. Here you go. You know what I mean? So you give them a card. I am a card person too. I know some people don't like them. I like them. I
I
don't
think,
know.
well, they have like the digital cards
Oh
now.
yeah, the
Did you
digital
know?
cards. Those are
Yeah, a
cool.
lot of people do those. I see a lot of people do QR codes. Like
Yes, QR
I've
codes
seen
are
like people
very
that sell
popular.
courses, they'll be doing like a live stream. They'll be like, hey, if you want to buy the course, they'll show like the QR code. So you just
Mhm.
scan it, it takes you there. Or like it could take you to a website or a YouTube channel. I think that's cool because it's just people
It is.
always have their phones and they could just scan it.
Jamie
Um,
does that.
but also with to touch on the topic more about finding clients and customers, obviously leveraging I was about to say
Social
social media,
social media.
leveraging social media and content marketing. Any thoughts on that? I'll share mine because I have more to talk
No,
about
you
that.
go
I know
ahead.
you kind of dwell, dwelled in it a little bit, right?
A little bit. A little
Uh,
bit.
So I mean, what do you do when it comes to
Me.
leveraging social media and content?
Um,
Um, do you think it helps? Do you not? What's your
I
thoughts on that?
I think it helps depending on your clientele. Back to that. I think, in my personal experience, it doesn't, but to others, it definitely does.
Yeah.
Um, I'm always involved in any kind of groups you can get in, on Facebook, stuff like that. Involve yourself. You see something that you can do and give back to the community, try to do that. Give your services, try to do that because people see all these things, they like that stuff. Um,
So
what's
this is the way that you leverage social media.
No, this is what I think works for others. It doesn't work for me, but I think it works for others.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I can't
Um,
speak for myself, but for others, meaning, bigger companies, private companies, small companies, stuff like that, even with what you do, I mention your stuff all the time because it's a word of mouth kind of thing, whatever, whatever. Um, yeah, it works for others. I lost my train of thought. You go first and I'm listening to you.
no, I think content marketing and social media it's free for one.
Oh, yeah.
I think it depends on the honestly, I was going to say I think it depends on the business model, but with the way the world is now, I feel like if you're not online, you're going to get passed up by people that are online
True.
because
Very true.
I mean, think about it. Like for one, they're putting a face to
Hmm.
their brand and business. So what do people want, right? People want to connect with people. I
Hmm.
talk about this a good amount on my channel. Even with my clients, my coaching client, I talk about connections because I do YouTube coaching. That goes into YouTube, right? It's like how can you connect with people, right? Based on like obviously are centered around your passion and your interests,
Mm.
right? So photography channel, right? That's how I started this channel, right? There's obviously I know there's a huge market for that because I mean, look, photography is one of the biggest hobbies out here, right? But it's like, how can I, in what way can I put myself out there to connect with people that have this same interest or this
Mhm.
same hobby? So I start to talk about certain things that I know that these people are interested in. So I can
Right.
connect with them to get them in my loop,
Hmm.
to start building my tribe of people that really I'm just connected with because we have similar interests.
Right.
So it's like, really, when you think about it that way, it's like now I'm thinking more of like, I'm not just thinking social media. I'm not just thinking content. I'm not just thinking Instagram, Facebook. I'm thinking of how can
Period.
I connect with people? And
Right.
see, social media content offers us a way to connect with people.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying, Kimo?
Yeah.
Do you feel me right now? Because
I
I'm
get you.
preaching. It's all about connections, right? And that's part of a way that people want to work with you, because it could be that you're on video, you're on social media, and they see how you move, they see how you talk, they see your interests because you do stories and put out content. So it's like, okay, I'm kind of connected to her now, in a
But it goes
sense.
back to what I said.
Yeah.
Even if you don't use that product, we have someone that we went to school with. We've never used this person's product or services. However, he posts so much all the time that we know this is the guy.
Yeah.
Meaning he does it. He does it. So if someone asks, "Hey, do you know anybody that does
You
da,
talking
da,
about
da, da?"
Jamel?
Yes.
See, I already know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he
You
does it.
know,
He
he
does
let it
it.
be. He and see, that's why he'll win over other people that are. He does insurance, right?
Yep.
Because
He's out there.
he's marketed himself and put himself out there so much to where when you hear insurance, his
No.
you picture him. But that's because he consistently shows up and talks about it so much, he
Yeah.
becomes associated to that thing.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? So like, versus the other person that I'll talk about it once a month.
Yep.
You're gonna get lost in the sauce, dude.
Well,
Yeah,
and
yeah, but
and honestly, like again, this is where I kind of step back and talk about what I think because again,
Mhm,
this doesn't work for my clients,
mhm,
but you have to evolve yourself with what's popular at that time. So if it's like what we were talking about the QR codes, those things.
yeah,
Again, staying hip to whatever is needed. My
mm,
friend that works with me, Jamie, she does like extensions and stuff like that, and she takes her clients outside every day and does a full on picture slash video of that person.
mm.
So she posts on her story and she posts on her actual page every single day. She posts her work every single day that she
You gotta
works.
bring her
I
on.
admire that. Oh
Can
yeah,
can
I
we bring
admire
her on?
that. She
So
actually
she's big
drives
on
in.
social media?
Yes. So fun fact on her too. She drives in 2 hours away to come to her job. 2 hours. She doesn't do it all the time. She doesn't do it every day, but she does come in a couple times a week, and I think that speaks highly for you because you're telling me you drive in 2 freaking hours, but that's how good of a clientele she has, and also what a bomb stylist she is because she has built herself up to that hype that she drives in that far. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this social media game is I mean, that's how I get all of my clients. Like my business is different from Kimberly's. Everything I do is online, right?
Right.
So a big part of what I do is I leverage platforms that they have the clientele there searching
Mm,
for solutions, which input Adrian Lard with certain solutions, right? YouTube services, right? UGC, all the freelancing services I offer. So that's one way you can easily kind of start generating clients is, okay, where are the clients at online? If you're, in the online space, and immersing yourself in that area, right? Setting up your profile. I mean, these freelance platforms make it easy for us because
yeah.
the clients come there, right? Even like Fiverr, I'm real big on Fiverr. Like, I don't market really my Fiverr services because the platform does it for me,
Yeah.
right? So for me, it's just a matter of obviously completing good work, because that's part of like the algorithm pushing you. You have to do a good job with the work, meaning 5-star reviews, positive feedback, clients actually happy, right? Which we talked about, customer service, right? So they rate you on all these things, right? So that determines how much the algorithm kind of pushes your profile services out there. But for me, it's just setting up my profile, showing my expertise and proof of work that I've done for other people. Um, and not really sales as far as like setting up my profile and stuff on these, just really just leveraging my expertise and showing that I can do the service.
Mm.
Right. And as you on these platforms, as you build up your profile, get 5-star reviews, it's kind of like at that point, the profile just kind of does all the work for you because
Mm.
of all your reviews. Kind of like word of mouth,
Yeah.
right? You get really good at something to where people just talk about you and you don't even have to really market because they're doing the marketing for you. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So like with my profile, like all of my reviews does the marketing for me because it's proof.
Yeah.
You want to see what kind of results I can get you? Look at what my past clients say. I don't.
Yeah.
What do I have to sell at that point? Like I'm not selling at that point. Someone made a good point, Kimberly. I recently watched a video. It was a man. It was a podcast, and they were like, I don't look at it as sales. They were like, I just guide people on the decision that is best for them, or
Mm.
something. It was something like that. And I was like, I like that a lot because it's like you've just flipped it. Because when you hear sales, it can kind of make you. Some people associate sales with being like sleazy, you know,
Yeah.
like a sleazy salesman, or they kind of get nervous. You remember we used to do consultations, you get nervous because it's like, oh my God, I'm selling myself. Like,
Yeah, you are.
you know what I mean? It makes you nervous. But when you kind of flip that, it's like, I'm just kind of guiding you to make a decision on what you want.
Well, and at the end of the
You know
day,
what I'm
they're
saying?
either gonna book you, use you, or whatever, or not.
Mhm.
They're gonna go with you or not. So again, that goes back to my same comment about knowing your worth. Stick to who you are. You know, we've taken gigs, you know, with photography stuff that we're like, dang man, we could have got $100 more or whatever it is. But it's like it depends. Like, you know, there's so
Yeah.
many things ins and outs, but knowing your value or something and knowing they're either going to book you or they're not. And it might be personal, it might be because of you, it might be because of blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It is what it is. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, it is what it is. I have lost clients. I've known that. And you know, teach their own. Some
Yeah.
people don't like making appointments. Some people think what I do. See, some people see it goes back to what I said. You have to cater to, well, you don't, but you should, and hopefully that helps you, and we're helping you saying this thing. Market slash whatever it is,
Mhm.
mold your business around your clients and what they want, or what's best for them. Because again, with mine, it's not websites, but I have lost people because they do want that.
Yeah. Well, I
So
think that's a good part of business too, because you don't want everybody. So kind of like any way that you can weed out certain people because of certain things or certain ways that you approach a certain
Yep.
thing is actually a good thing.
It's a great thing.
Like this is something that Kimberly, we did not think like this in the beginning. We want everybody. If you're not booking me, I'm offended because shoot,
Yeah.
we want all y'all. Like, oh, you don't want to book me? Like getting the feelings all in it.
Be like,
And like,
oh my gosh, they went to so and so, not us. Okay. Do you
my
think
wife,
convenience stores and all that they care?
yeah.
What were you gonna
Like my
say?
wife said, like if there is, I'm not doing. I'm not convincing. I think I told Kimberly this the other day. I'm not convincing nobody to work with me. I,
No.
I am not convincing anybody to work with me. I've done that in the past. It's like you're pressing for that client to book with you. It's a little bit different with me, Kimberly. You know, back and forth and the service, and it's like no. If I have to convince you to work, like literally convince you to work with me, it's not going to work out
No.
because you don't even truly want it because I
I
have
was
to
gonna say that.
convince
Yeah.
you.
I was gonna say that. Yeah, you don't. It, these big, and that's the thing. These big companies and stuff, man. If we go to Walmart at a minute before they're gonna close, they're not gonna let us in, probably.
Mhm.
Or no, wait, should they or should they not? I don't know that answer, but let's say they don't. It's because they don't have to, because they made however much money that day. They don't need you, right?
Yeah.
It. it's very tricky when it comes down to this stuff, but you can really get in your head if you're digging too deep.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Entrepreneurship in general, just
Oh, absolutely.
yeah. I think it's easy to overcomplicate stuff. Like you see how we're talking about like sales and client communication. It's so easy, Kimberly, to overcomplicate that. For me, it
Mhm.
is to where it's like, oh,
Yeah.
I need to say that. And I
Yeah,
remember being
did I
so
say that
uptight.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I had to say certain things, and if they didn't respond, I'm like, oh my God, was it something I said? Like just stupid, just stupid. It's like,
In the
dude,
book.
yeah, it's like they could have not responded for any freaking reason. They could have chose
Life,
someone else for
life,
any reason.
life happens. Everything happens. It could be
Yeah,
something so simple as I didn't even get a chance to respond. My
yeah.
phone died. So and so passed, unfortunately. What it could
Mhm.
be literally anything. I don't want to respond on your day off, blah blah blah. It could be anything.
You never know why
People
someone
forget.
chose to
Yeah.
not work with you. I mean, you just don't know. And I feel like it's something that you shouldn't even worry about. Like on to the next client, man. Like
Exactly.
you're in this for the long run. Like you can't be sitting there worried about like, oh, why didn't they pick me? Like,
And
nah.
that's just it. I just moved salons, and when I did that, the sorry, I keep saying that. I'm just saying that for people that are fast forwarding, by the way. Um, when I moved, I was worried about what people were going to do or say, because there is women where I work where prior to where I was working, it was really just me, right? So now it's like you got to interact with others, and some people don't like that. But if I have 80% of my clients, 90% of my clients that are cool with it, they're excited for me, they're happy for me, they're motivating for me. Not that I need it, but I'm saying if you got that big of a clientele where they're all on the same page and you just got
Mhm.
those few that aren't, peace. I'll see you later. And I'm cool with
Yeah.
that. It's
Yeah.
no hard feelings at all. And you gotta know how to be very forceful without being negative slash rude. You have to know, like, when this, so let's just say, for example, this week I had a guy say, I really like this place, but the one thing I don't like is the chemical smell. And I'm like, man, well, I shut the door for you. um you know I can only do so much, but I will try to hope that next time, I can make it better for you or something like that. This person is cool. He said it kind of cool, but like I've had others that are like, oh my gosh, I hate blah, 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 the parking or whatever. Oh, and let me say something. The new place that I'm at is literally not even, it's one street over from where I just was. I kid you not. Same exact route, whatever you want to call it, same exact place. So some people that are really negative about it, I'm like, I can't even make this stuff up. Like
Yeah,
it's
whatever.
a joking manner at that point, because it's like, are you serious? You're gonna complain about that? But reality is that's cool. Don't take it personal.
Yeah.
Don't, because if you do that, you're never gonna make it.
Yeah, because I mean, there's literally so many things you can take personal.
Yep.
It's like I think it can help you'll lose focus
Yeah.
and just start to be more negative because you're having your feelings on your shoulder. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
That's true.
let's pivot to mindset, which is man, I think we can both say a huge part of
You.
being an entrepreneur and just the journey of reflecting back to how your mindset used to be and just all the growth when it comes to mindset. And I think mindset is huge for entrepreneurs. Like you have to have the right mindset. Think about when we were even with AOK Kimberly and we didn't have the right mindset. Like think about how it was going. It wasn't going good because our mindset it needs a lot of
Wasn't
work,
there. It wasn't
right?
there.
But let's talk a little bit, in terms of mindset, overcoming, fear of failure. Can you talk about a
Mm.
moment or how you've kind of evolved with that and how important it is?
I would say that. Oh, that's it's so many different things. I think that when you believe in yourself, I'm a I guess, what's the word, manifestation type
Mhm.
deal, whatever. I don't speak on it often, but I told Adrian recently that in my car on the way to work I'll talk to myself, and he's like, what? And I'm like, I do, because
Yeah.
if I wake up and I try not to. One thing I will say, let me give you a little tip. Fun fact: I put my phone on don't disturb, and until I mentally am here when I wake up, I've brushed my teeth. I've gotten like, okay, I'm looking around. It's going to be a good day. Because let's be real, we don't always wake up and have great days, right?
Yep.
How do you shift your mindset before you walk in that door to go to work? That's really
Mm-hmm.
hard. It's really, really
Mm-hmm.
hard. Me personally, being that I deal with customers, and again, they're usually happy, but sometimes that little, in between, I have to keep afloat of how I'm feeling. Because if I'm down, then they're going to be down. So in the car, I like to say, it's going to be a great day. I'm going to have a great day. I'm going to kick ass today. I'm going to make a lot of money today. I brought my food. It's going to be a great lunch. Like, you have to literally say it out loud, and it messes with me. Like, I visualize that. I'm thinking back to what I just said, because if I'm going to work and I'm not even talking, or not saying you have to do that, but if I'm not doing anything, listening to music, and I'm just like, another day, another dollar, you're not going to have a great day. You're not going to be you're not at your best point. And everything in that day is just going downhill. So I think mindset is big. Mindset.
Have you had fear of failure, or like how would you overcome, like, maybe some fears that you've had with starting a business or being in business? And how
mm,
did you overcome that fear of failing at something?
I think I struggle with that still. I think I could look up to next week and say, what if nobody calls me? What if I get no clients next week?
That's a fear you have?
It's not necessarily, well, it's
It
not
doesn't
a
have to be like
fear,
a
but it's
super
like
fear.
in
It
the
could
back
just
of
be
my head, and I'm thinking it like, back to my pricing. I just went up, so I might lose people. I won't know that for like another month or so, right? They might be like, "Oh, I'm not willing to pay that."
yeah, you were
So
fearful about that.
I'm
So
very
how did you
fearful.
overcome that?
So I think of it like, okay, well, what's my next step? I'm going to go forward. What's the next thing after that? Because today might suck, but tomorrow's gonna be better. So if I lose people, I already have a branding, we talked about doing my branding session. That's something that I'm going to do. And my back to my business cards, that kind of thing. Again, trying to do different things. Again, changing, not wanting, I don't want to change, but reality is I might have to, being that I might lose people, right? That's a fear of mine, but in reality, it might happen, and I'm cool with that, because now I have a solution to what's going to happen.
Mm,
So
good point.
even if it's a fail or a thought of a failure or whatever, what are you going to do after that? What's your next step? Because it's got to be something.
Yeah. So, like for you, you would say thinking ahead and
Pushing,
planning and
thinking of like, okay, this might happen. It could
so
happen. It
what's
really
my
could.
next move?
What's my next thing?
Right. So you would say overall you don't really deal with a lot of like fear of failing at anything in regards to your job?
No, I mean, even if I lost
Think
certain,
about when you were in the beginning of that stage. I know
oh, I
you
was
had
really
probably
scared. I was
you
extremely
weren't.
scared.
Oh,
I was scared because, again, it's not consistent. What I do is it's about consistent now, but it wasn't when I first started. So there
mhm.
would be great weeks, horrible weeks, super crazy great weeks, and then goes back to the slowest of the slow.
Yeah.
That's just what I
Entrepreneurship 101 of
yeah.
uh spikes, downs. That's definitely part of the journey of
Right now is
highs
what
and lows, especially when it comes to income. For
mhm.
us, at least, maybe for some people, it's not, but for us, uh,
My biggest months right now are like right now in the holiday time. But granted, come January, it's going to be my slowest month. Usually it's my slowest month.
we're
And I
actually both.
go ahead.
I was going to say we're both in our peak months. For
Yes.
me, it's a lot of advertisers running usually ads around this time. So YouTube videos doing good from that. Clients, people wanted to start a YouTube channel for next year. So they start looking for help around this time. Amazon, obviously, shopping season. So
Mm,
this is a good month for us.
yeah.
But I don't, like my wife said, next month it may be slower. This is where like proper planning with your finances. Did you talk about that earlier?
A little
Like,
bit.
yeah, we that's a whole nother, we could talk about that in a whole video, but it's like kind of like knowing, preparing for slow
Mhm.
months, right? Kimberly knows I'm real big on this now. It's like, Hey, Booga Bear. That's our baby right there. What's up,
Oh,
Booga? Oh,
looking.
yeah, but it's like planning for these slow months, right? So, having a stash to where, okay, if I don't make any money or any clients or whatever this month, like I have a stash of money that I could, you know, have, or, um, maybe cutting back on spending,
Yeah.
right? Just to prepare for a slow month or something like that, because it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So you have to be prepared. And it's people get in these situations and then it's like, oh my God, it's so horrible, this and that. But it's like, did you prepare?
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you didn't, you can't be mad at anybody but yourself. Because you probably could have made some changes to where you wouldn't be in that position. Right?
And
Yeah.
then that's another thing too. How do you gotta figure out all these things like I pay myself at the end of the week. So I wait till my whole week is over and I look at my finances and what I've made each day. I take out all the things I need to take out and then I pay myself whatever is left. Now I can look at a week and be like, dang, I'm making a lot of money the first 2 days. But reality is once my days are gone, my week is done, it might even out to where, dang, man, I didn't make nothing. You gotta
Yeah.
be ready for that.
What
But
about
again, preparing.
right. To touch back on what we were talking about, I want to talk a little bit about fear of failure. And for me, when I first got in this online game, that was probably one of the biggest things that was holding me back. It was like, how would I be viewed if I failed at this thing? And it was more so because I was big on social media, so I'm working really hard at this thing and people can see
Mhm.
it. So that kind of did something to me because it to me, it would be kind of, at that time my mindset was it would be kind of embarrassing because I'm working so hard at it, and then people see that and then they see it doesn't work. You get what
Mm,
I'm saying, Kimbo?
yeah.
So for me, it was more so just the fact that I was really invested in it, and I knew people could see that. So if I failed, it's like, this fool, you know.
Yep.
That's just how I used to think. But I can say now that my goals are more important and
Mm,
bigger than me failing. My goals and what I'm doing is far more important, and I care way more about than what someone else is going to think about whatever I'm doing. My point is, I don't care about that stuff no more,
mm,
right? Because my fear of not reaching my goals is the biggest fear, right? My fear of not being able to um, provide and experiences and nice things for the people that I truly love, that scares me. You see what I'm saying? So those things mean so much to me that I'm not worried about failing at anything business wise, like fear of like, oh, I'm not going to do it because I'm scared I'm going to fail.
Okay, now I kind of
You
maybe
get what
I
I'm saying?
maybe I misunderstood what that meant, but yes, I completely agree now
Because
because I
people,
feel
their fear, well, like some people won't even do something because they're scared they're going to fail.
yeah,
So they won't even start.
right.
So like fear is powerful. I mean, it can stop you from not, that could potentially be your I don't know what God has planned for you. And
Hmm.
you're literally letting fear hold you back. It could be what people think, it could be, oh, it could be something stupid. This is what people do, Kimberly.
Yeah,
You don't agree?
yeah. Oh yeah.
But it's like my goals and biggest aspirations outweigh fear. And me not trying at least to accomplish that scares me.
Yeah.
So for me, the fear thing is, I feel like it doesn't really bother me too much anymore. Like I'll give you an example. I'm pivoting right now on my channel, right? I've talked to Kimbo a little bit about it. I'm pivoting. And I understand that certain people may not like this new content. So you may be asking, or maybe think, well, not asking, but excuse me, you may be thinking like, is he scared to fail? No, because I can live with, I know that I tried.
Okay.
I didn't live in fear of just, oh, I'm not gonna do it because of this, which is just fear.
Yes.
I'm gonna continue to put myself out there. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, but I can live with. I moved past fear and I did it, whether
Mhm.
it succeeded or not.
Okay, so what you just said is kind of like I tell you, if I stop cutting hair next week, I can say I was my own boss for 2+ years. That's
Mhm.
amazing. Something I never thought I'd be able to do. Period.
Right.
I've set myself up, and of course I'm married, and we have our own stuff. Um, that we have money saved, that kind of thing. But like, God forbid something were to happen and I just stop. I can say, dang, I did that. Like I did
Mhm.
that. I had this many clients. I did that for that many years. It worked for that many years. Dang, I'm good. Like I'm
Yeah.
happy with that. I'm content with knowing that because it's something I never in a million years thought I'd be able to do. So I literally used to go in different places like that and be like, dang, I hope one day I could get, or I'll never be able to get a place like this. Like, how in the heck do you make money, And then
Mhm.
here I am doing it. And it's like,
Yeah, that's
what?
that's crazy.
No way. Even you've talked about working for yourself for forever. I mean, truthfully, after a couple years, I'd say after we started dating, you started saying that. And I was like, what? Of
Yeah,
course, back
I've been
then.
saying that for a while.
So you've been talking about this for a minute. So even
Yeah,
when you said it to me, back in June, I was like, okay, go do it, because I know that I'm confident in you enough to know that you can do this. I know that, and it could be something totally different. And there's different ways to make incomes. There's different. You don't have to pick one thing. You could do different
yeah.
things. So what works for you is different. So it's
Kimberly
kind
know
of
me.
cool.
I'm all about like proof of concept. Um, like if I see something works, it does something to me to where it's like the belief and like the drive and the motivation to do it more to see that improved. It's like that's that spark I need.
Hmm.
And it could be the smallest thing. It could be the smallest thing, like, okay, I made $1 today. That's proof of concept though. I made $1. You see, the Kimberly, I get hype about this. These are the building blocks of
Hmm.
entrepreneurship. Like there has been times to where I wasn't making nothing, but I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
working at it. You remember that YouTube stuff I used to do? How long I used to be in that room, how long I would create. Kimberly, how much effort was I putting into that stuff?
The whole freaking relationship.
She said
That's a whole nother video.
she said the whole relationship.
We
Damn.
didn't do a lot together. We missed out on a lot. I think you concentrated on that a lot. You wanted it to work so bad.
Yeah.
Um, you know, to look
Man,
back
I
and
mean,
say you've been doing it forever.
that's the part though, Kimberly, of the beginning stage of entrepreneurship. Like, and I think that's what people need to hear, that like, because they see now, right? Some of you may see me now. It's like I talk about this stuff, it's cool. Oh, he quit his job, that's cool. But it's like, man, if you only knew what it took
Mhm.
for me to get to this point, if you only knew how many sleepless nights, how many times I've failed, how many times I've sacrificed, how many, it's honestly making me emotional. I'm not even gonna lie,
Yeah.
because I've worked my, just talk, Kimberly. I can't. Just talk.
No,
I
I,
really can't. I
I
really can't
totally agree,
because
and I can vouch for you on that. But also too, I can relate to that because even with me, having managers that now looking back, I'm like, okay, a lot of that was me
Mhm.
too. So what I'm about to say, don't take to heart. But having managers that I thought at that time sucked, or I didn't get along with, or whatever, having coworkers that I didn't like, whatever, at different points in the whole years I've worked. Going through those things where I'm like, man, should I stay here? Should I move? Do I do this? You just don't know, right? You're always scared, but then
Mhm.
to stick with something, to excel at it, to kill
Mhm.
it, and then to just keep going, and then again to keep going up on this staircase. It's kind of cool to look back and think that, and never. I feel like you should always take a minute and even if it's like you said earlier, like $1 a day,
Yeah.
it could be the smallest little thing you did that day. But remember, don't be hard on yourself about it either. Like you said, give yourself
Mhm.
grace. Kind of like, even at my shop now, I want things finished in that room, but I've been so busy lately. I've
Mhm.
been trying to tell myself, you know what it is, because
Yeah.
I've been busting my butt. I did all my Christmas shopping this week. I cleaned the
Yeah.
house.
Christmas
I was
shopping
impressed.
earlier, man. Like just being able to just appreciate things, man. Like that makes us happy. Like we didn't go out and spend a crazy amount of money or nothing, but just getting little gifts for the people that we care about, and um, just having the ability to even do that. Just being grateful for the little things. Like it hadn't always been like that. That we can just go out and get a bunch of people gifts.
That's
It
true.
ain't always been like that. And those you learn to appreciate those things. These are small things, and um, it's a reflection of the sacrifices and how hard you worked, right? It's
Yep,
a
I agree.
reflection of like that point to where you were doing all this stuff and maybe it wasn't working, but you stay persistent with it. And now 10 years later, it's like, dang, you could look back and be like, and just laugh at it. Like,
That's
what
true.
the heck, man? Like, dude, I could barely make $1. But now it's like, I'm mad when I make $200 a day or so. You know what I mean? It's just it's kind of crazy. It really is kind of crazy to me, at least. It's just like, what the heck, man? Do you ever just have to like pinch yourself and be
All the time.
like how did I even like you worked hard, but it's like, dang, am I really here?
All the time.
Yeah, I think I've heard you say that a couple times, like
I
when
got
you kind of talk,
emotional with
yeah,
it the other day at lunch. I was like, oh my gosh.
yeah, to just sit in it and feel it. Like you said, like, dang, I've been on my own for 2 years. Doesn't matter. It at that point, Kim, it doesn't matter if you had to go back to an employer or it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And that's something that I've kind of thought to myself. And I'm not scared or worried about having to go back to a 9 to 5. If it happens, it happens. But I can say that I did this thing and that I wasn't scared to put myself
Try it.
out there
Yeah.
and to go all in on myself. And
Yep.
hey, that's something that I can live with because a lot of people live in fear and they have so much to offer. You have so much to offer. Whoever is watching this video, and I hate when people like that just live in fear.
Yeah.
It's like you have so much you can put out there and so many things like whatever your life is now, it doesn't have to stay like that. It's up to you
Hmm.
to change things and to change your way of thinking and to stop living in fear and to just jump.
Yeah.
That ain't got nothing to do with the world, and we can make excuses all day. It comes down to you.
Facts.
Am I lying, Kimo?
Nope. You ain't
Yeah.
lying.
So we're gonna go back on mindset. How do you stay motivated and disciplined? I think a lot of people struggle with that.
You gotta dig deep. You gotta dig so deep.
Super
Uh,
deep.
yeah. It's not always easy. Like I was saying earlier, it's not. I don't wake up every day happy. I don't, but I think about everything else. I think about my clients. I think about
Mm,
they spend their hard earned money on me and what I'm providing, right? So how can I give them the best experience? That's how I think of it. And what comes with that is me being positive, being on time, being professional, being, assertive, being respectful. All these things matter. So my mind has to be right because I can't perform great if I'm not on a great headspace,
mm.
you know? So that's how I think.
Yeah, good points. Staying motivated and disciplined. I think for me, Lex, you look like Lex. How do you stay motivated and disciplined, boy? You falling asleep, boy? Give on his face. He's funny, man. He's so funny, y'all. For me, staying motivated and disciplined, I think you gotta. I agree with my wife. You have to dig deep, man, and that digging is gonna be different for everybody. But I think you have to have a strong why in what you do, and It has to be something strong, like you just stated, like what keeps you going. You know what I mean? Like for me, it's helping people through all these things that I do. Content. Maybe that's making someone change their way of thinking, maybe making them win at a certain business deal or something. That gives me a lot of fulfillment, gives me a lot of purpose, in life. Just knowing that, dang, I helped someone,
Mm,
right? Or I've been through this and I could pass that on to someone else to help them get past that sticking point that I once had,
right.
right? And feeling stuck in that, like, oh my God, like, how do I, you know what I mean? Like, how do I get out of this? So if I can provide that to someone, that gives me a lot of fulfillment. And obviously with my clients, I've always been like, just like helping people. So seeing them get their wins and tell me how much I've helped them, and helping them achieve their goals and them being happy. I like stuff like that. It makes me feel good about what I'm doing. Right. So that stuff keeps me motivated. It could be the smallest thing. It could be a comment from a subscriber I've had on my channel. Just little stuff like that keeps me motivated. Yeah. What about setbacks and rejection? Handling
Ooh.
setbacks and rejections. We'll close it up with this topic.
So it's gonna happen. It's definitely gonna happen. You're gonna have people that say, "Man, this haircut sucked." Um, Again, I'm always thinking of what am I going to do after, because it's going to happen. You're going to make people mad. You're going to upset people. Somebody's going to be unpleased. And what do they say? The customer's always right. Kind of disagree with that, but I will say that I tried to really encourage that statement, because I look at it like, okay, if I charge whatever I charge for a haircut and somebody is really just displeased with something, give it back. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, sorry that you were unhappy with this, but let me refund your money and, go on your day and say, I'm so sorry that, things didn't work out, and, whatever. It's going to happen. You're going to have people that are going to cancel on you, or going to not book you, or going to go with someone else. And again, don't take it personal, because again, it might be the simplest thing of like, they couldn't get in that day or whatever.
Yeah.
It could be anything. However,
Never
I will
know.
say this is going to test you, and I'll end on this too. I think in the past we've asked certain clients, "Can I ask you a favor?" And you tell me, why
Mhm.
didn't you choose me? That can kind of build you. It's going to be direct criticism, and some people might not give it to you.
We
And
wanted to know though.
some people might give you the runaround about it. But I
Yeah,
personally think that if you're willing to grow, you can shift your mindset and ask those questions and then see, because it could be
that's a
something
good
you're not
point.
even thinking about.
That's a really good point. Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. I think that's a great point of to just give you more to move forward with, instead of getting in your own head about it and
Mhm.
assuming, that was a hard step for us to start asking. This was with our
Oh yeah.
photography business, like,
Yeah, yeah.
if you don't mind us asking, why did you choose to go with someone else? But we just jumped because we wanted like feedback so we could improve. So we didn't let our fear of what they would say outweigh, like, this can help us get better.
Right.
So it goes back to like overcoming fear of criticism or failure. It's like your goal has to be bigger than that. And
Mhm.
for us, it was more important to grow and improve. So at that point, we're like, we're willing to do whatever. Like, who cares if they say like, "Oh, y'all suck" or whatever? Like, we're okay with that because we're looking at the bigger picture of, this is going to help us grow, and we're not going to take it personal, because we know that we had learned at that point we can't take this business stuff personal. Like,
Yeah.
it's a business. This isn't a personal thing. Like, you're doing a service, or you're offering a haircut, a product, or whatever. Like, it's a business. You complete, deliver, whatever, and they pay you.
Mhm.
Like, personal feelings and all that for a lot of businesses, I mean, that's over here. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, it's no room for that. But setbacks and rejections, like my wife said, is going to happen.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna
It's just more so, how are you going to deal with them?
it's almost like you should expect it. I know that sounds messed up,
Be
but
ready for it.
if you put your mind that way and you say like, okay, this is gonna happen. I
Prepare
know it's
yourself
gonna happen.
mentally
It's
for it.
coming. It's coming. It's
Yeah.
kind of once again using my changing of a salon, man. And then I hit them with a bam. Here's my prices increase. It's so scary, but you know they're gonna be people that are gonna be mad.
Yeah.
It's okay. And
It's
I'm ready for it. And I had actually, you know what's so funny we're saying this. Kimmy, Adrian, the girl I work with, the barber, she asked me, "Ooh, Kimberly, so I'm not cool with that price. What are you gonna say now?" She asked me that. And I straight up told her,
ooh,
one, my rent went up. Not that people need to know that, but that is true. Two, I haven't raised my prices in forever. Three, I know I'm worth blah blah blah. I don't have to really give a reason. And honestly, you don't
no.
have to. You don't have to. Because
Target don't.
if you feel
Walmart
like
don't.
you want to, go ahead. But I mean, truth and reality is, like I told you a minute ago, they're either going to use you for your service or they're not. And that is totally fine if they're not. It's okay.
I
And
know
I'm
that's
cool with
right.
that. And I know that's cool. Because again, I've lost people in this transition of all these things, and then I've had people come back. I've had people that I only see once in a blue moon. It's
Mhm.
cool. There's people I don't know who they go to in between me, but I know they didn't wait 6 months to get a haircut. So it is what it is. But it's cool. I welcome them with good in welcoming arms because again, I don't want to ruin that relationship because
Mhm.
again, the potential of marketing or networking from that person, I don't
Mhm.
want to burn a bridge, right? You never want to
Exactly.
burn bridges. You
You never
can
know what could come from that client,
yes,
and
you
you
can
sitting up there
fire
getting mad
a
about
client.
stuff.
Exactly.
Yep.
Fire a client, but be very respectful about it is one thing. But like in all reality, losing that disrespect and kind of like going south real quick, that's never gonna sit well. You will take the higher end and you'll feel better if you do as much as you can. Not saying kiss butt or anything like that, but like just be you. Be you. Whatever that is. Yeah.
Yeah.
My advice.
Even like with the setbacks and rejections, like those are gonna happen, but usually on the other side of that stuff is a win.
Yes.
So
My back is
once
killing me.
again, shifting the mindset, the perspective. Okay, I may get a lot of setbacks, I may get a lot of no's, but if I stay persistent, trust myself, trust the process, continue to do the necessary work, I will eventually get my opportunity, or I will eventually hear a yes,
Yeah.
or I will eventually meet the client that doesn't fuss about my prices and they just say, how much? Oh,
Mhm.
1,000, here you go. Right. So a lot of entrepreneurship is, I know it's cliche, but you do have to trust the process.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot of being very trusting the work that you're putting in and being persistent with it, even when setbacks, rejections, failures. That is truly, it comes back to that. I think it's a good way to kind of close this up. It's like those are the people that really achieve a lot of goals and see success. They continue to push during setbacks,
Mm.
rejections, failures.
Yeah.
They have a will and a strong mindset to stay persistent through the storm. That's really, I mean, let's be for real, Kimberly. I think something I've had to tell myself, because I used to be more like, man, you see people having success, you see a lot of people achieving goals, and you're not really doing nothing. You may even start hating a little bit, like you start
Yeah.
saying hateful stuff like, man, he ain't even smart or something like that. Well, I can speak for myself. This is 22-year-old Adrian or something, right? I would never say that now. But I don't even think a lot of people are like, it's not that they're smarter than you or they have some secret. They continue to persist through the
Mm.
failures, setbacks, the rejections. They have a stronger will to achieve their goals. They have a more a better, well-rounded mindset than you. Their will to succeed is stronger than yours, because when people experience setbacks, failures, losses, some people in that situation are going to quit. This ain't for me. 2 months in, ain't nothing working. I quit. But on the other side of that, Kimberly, if you continue to stay with it in 12 months,
Mm-hmm.
you could have
Potential.
possibly achieved that goal. So, like, even just believing, like, we've talked about manifestation, we've talked about mindset, just believing, like, man, if I stick with it, I know I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I get it. It's cliche, but this stuff works, man. I
Yeah.
can say it because I've done it. I've done it.
Mm-hmm.
Kimberly has probably done it too, like, where it's not going right and you just stick with it. Stick with it.
Yep.
What, you want to share anything about that? Kim,
No,
just
I think
sticking
that
with it, man. Like,
I think it's like I said, digging deep. You have to figure out what is it that will make you go. Is it your
mm,
family? Is it you? Is it where what is your goals? Like what are those goals? It could be anything.
yeah. Yeah, man. I encourage y'all, man, to stick with it. Entrepreneurship is not easy. We wanted to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. We've talked about all of it, I feel like, in this video.
Mm-hmm.
We've even expressed how it's a roller coaster. Ups and downs, peaks,
Yeah.
valleys. This is all part of the journey. I think it takes a person with a very strong mindset, a very strong will and desire to
Mhm.
um serve people, and to, from that serving, you get the reward of freedom, money,
Yeah.
right? Really, that's what we do with a lot of these businesses. It's just serving. And I think once again, switching that, I'm serving someone, and really getting good at that, serving people effectively, right? A big part of that is something my wife touched, is customer service, which a lot of people suck at.
Yes, they
Like,
do.
that's, I would say, oh my God, like, how big is that part of the game of
It's
just
every. I
customer
mean,
service? It's like you could just win just from, just maybe your service isn't the best, or your product, let's just say, it's decent. But if that customer service is on point,
yep.
I would say, hey,
So
you can build and make that service and product better, but that customer service is going to take you far.
that's what I'm
People
saying.
appreciate that.
People don't come to you just because of whatever it is. They
Yeah,
come for you for different reasons.
yeah.
Yep.
And I think people really appreciate that, and especially in today's world, because it's just a lot of customer service that just sucks, man. People don't. To me, it just says that you don't care.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you don't care about serving people, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
I,
it's more. I would say you're more in it for selfish reasons, because you're not really worried about your client
mm-hmm.
satisfaction. That's my main priority when working with my clients. Like, hey, are you satisfied?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not just doing the service to just do it. Like, I want to, Kimberly knows, because I talk about it all the time. Like, and I tell her about my reviews and all this stuff. Like, are you actually happy with the service? Because I put my heart and soul into this stuff. I'm not just hopping on here and coaching clients and just telling you anything. Like, I'm preparing, like, I'm invested in you because you took the chance to invest in me. The
Yeah.
least I can do is show up and give you 100%.
Yeah. I agree.
Like, that's a no-brainer. What, I'm gonna show up at 80 and you just paid me and trusted me to help you? Like, I just think that's a loser's mindset. Oh, I'm gonna just show up at 80%.
Yep.
Like, that's not enough. That's not enough to succeed in this game. Like, my wife, I know for a fact, she shows up at 100% a lot, like, probably every day, because she's very invested and very serious about what she does.
And here's the thing about that. I can't expect someone to take me serious if I don't take myself serious. How can I respect or be a certain way to you if you come like we say this.
Mhm.
If your clothes are, I'm not saying they got to be the highest of the high. I'm just saying ironed, right? If you look presentable, you are well kept, you are well groomed, all these things are at checkpoint. I'm going to look at you at a higher value already, period.
Yeah.
Because you're taking yourself serious. When you are not taking yourself serious, clothes, you're late, you're unkept, you're worried about other stuff. I see you on your phone. I ain't going to care no more.
Yeah.
If we just went out to eat and I gave that waitress whatever I gave her, but if I saw her on the phone, I'm not saying I wouldn't not tip at all. I've never not tipped,
Yeah.
but it makes a difference.
Hmm.
That lady, that girl, whoever was a hard worker because she wasn't on her phone. She wasn't slacking around. When she wasn't busy, she was doing something else. I saw that. I pay attention to small stuff.
I
Call me
noticed that
crazy.
too. I seen it
I
come in
just,
and
you
yeah.
know, I pay attention to that stuff. That stuff matters to me personally. I don't know if it's our age or what, but you know, you don't see that often anymore. But like,
I think as we've
out,
gotten older, we pay attention to it more. And I
yeah,
think us being in business too,
yeah, yeah,
because
yeah,
we're in it. So it's like if we
yeah. Mhm,
see it, we can notice like, yeah, they suck or they're not good at all. Their customer service sucks because these are things that we do. Like we client communication, right? You talk to clients more than me, but
mhm.
like me with coaching and sales and just client communication messages, stuff like that. Um, yeah, this is what I do. So I know if someone's like, not giving, at least the baseline of what they're supposed to be giving, customer service wise. But
Yep.
yeah, any last points, Kimmo?
No, but if
Any
you
last words of motivation or insight or a little spark you could give someone who's struggling, maybe been in a position you've been in, something like that.
dang, put me on the spot. I feel that if you can do it, I'm sorry, if we can do it and we can be self-employed and make it work and we both are that way right now, it is insane. I never thought this day would ever come. And again, sacrificing all that kind of stuff. If we can do it, you definitely can do it. You just have to put your mind, have a goal, and say, "Hey, next July, I'm going to be working for myself." Say it, manifest it. Now, I cannot talk. Manifest it. I cannot talk still. You know what I'm trying to say. Jesus.
Yeah,
Say it, believe it, write it down a million times if you have to. You can do it. Yes. And
I
this is
like
your
that.
sign. Maybe you're looking for a sign. This is your sign.
Yeah,
There it is.
sometimes people just need that sign. I think back to I feel
Manifest.
like there's been times I've had a lot of signs or um just hearing that little, maybe it's a little motivation message for someone. It's like, dang, man, I really needed that in this moment. Maybe I was struggling at that moment, or I stopped believing in myself,
Mhm.
and then I kind of maybe slacked off on the side hustle, right? But
Mhm.
that's not going to get me to my goal.
Yeah.
So sometimes these pick me ups it can be that spark to get you going again, and then you could possibly just get in your groove, and then you just take off.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it was a struggle to kind of get in my groove. I was letting, mindset wasn't the best. Pin my feelings on my wearing my feelings on my shoulder, sleeve, whatever. Um, but it's once I started to get some wins and just get in my groove of things and really believing, like my wife said, manifesting, putting it out there, like, hey, even just telling you, like, this is what I want to do. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? Like saying it on my YouTube channel, like that stuff is powerful, man. Because it's like if I'm telling people I want to do it, I have to show up.
Yep.
I can't just be like, oh, I want to do this, and then I'm just not doing it. Like that's not Kimberly. That's not me as a person.
Mhm.
Like to be like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and then she see me around here not doing any of it.
Mm.
I'm gonna feel like stupid and embarrassed at that point because I know I'm thinking in my head, I told her I'm gonna do it, but I'm not. See, that's how I am with myself. It's like I'm hard on myself, like I'm not doing it. And I said I
Yeah.
was gonna do it. You see what I'm saying? So like that is something that kind of helped me like kind of pit it out and tell people because it's like I just have to stick with it because I have to own up to like what I told this person, right? Like that's just me. You gotta find like what gets you going. Like what do you need as a person? You may be different. Like my wife said earlier, people need different things. Like you may need a different motivator than me. You may need a different um pick me up or maybe that's a motivational message or learning something new. It's all you have to really a big part of this journey is figuring out yourself too.
Mhm.
Because how can you do all these things if you don't even know who you are? Right? If you don't know who you are, I'm willing to bet you don't know what you want in life.
Yeah. That's a good point.
So a lot of entrepreneurship from my experience, and I know I've just quit my job, what, 4.5 months ago, but I've been doing this stuff for years, like of
Mhm.
to where I was already working as if I was an entrepreneur. So think about that for a second. Like I'm treating it as if I'm already doing it. You get what I'm
Mm.
saying, Kimbo? Like I'm already living that because I'm already working like, hey, because this is the goal. I need to work like that to get to that right now, 3 years prior.
Yep.
Right. But I lost my train of thought about the other stuff. But Kimberly knows I get hype about this stuff
I was gonna say he
because
gets deep into it when he really like cares. When it
yeah,
means something to him and he has such a I don't know. It's definitely there.
yeah,
The spark
she
is there.
knows because I talk to her like this sometimes. And sometimes she probably even tell me I have to chill out. Like, man, probably because she's tired from work or something. Like,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
let it
yeah.
out, you
It's
know.
not
But that's why the YouTube channel helps because I can get on here and I can express and share. Um, and I just hope that these messages touch someone.
Yep.
You know, for me, it's I don't know, man. I don't really think about the views and all that stuff too much anymore, like I used to. It's more so of how can this impact someone in some kind of way. Hey, whatever comes from that as far as monetize and all that stuff, that's cool, of course. I'm not ignoring that, but the ultimate thing is it making some kind of impact,
Mm-hmm.
right? Can I help someone that get out of a position that I was in,
Mm.
right? Can I just sharing a quick little story could be that thing to help you. So I'm all for it. We're gonna wrap this up. Going on 2 hours. We're gonna clip this up for sure. I think we had a lot of gems in here. Shout out to my wife for helping me because she could have been chilling on the couch eating popcorn,
I
watching our
literally,
shows.
I swear, I was just looking online, see when they close
Who?
the movies.
Dang. That girl been talking about that popcorn all day. It's popcorn. Popcorn is not. I'm not going. Nah. If I'm just chilling, I'm not leaving the house just for some popcorn.
It's different when you get at the movies.
Nah.
Yes.
Well, movie popcorn is good though.
Yeah. If I get
I
it,
didn't even know you could get it until she got it one day. I was like, you remember? I was like, is that movie popcorn? She was like, yeah, I just
I
bought
go
it.
get it. I don't want you to even touch it. Don't
I
even
was
get
like, what?
one
She
one
literally went
kernel.
about the movie popcorn.
Yep.
That's crazy. But yeah, if y'all got value from this, man, drop it a like. I would greatly appreciate it. Subscribe if you want more content, and we will see y'all in the next video.
Yay!
Peace.
Bye.